Good morning, peeps. I'm smiling because I just like saying that. Bonjour, peeps. That's hello in Potawatomi, and of course, peeps is peeps. Um, Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page and to the daily card draw live stream. And we've been doing this now since May, and almost every day, not quite, but almost. Most mornings we've done an afternoon here and there because of my schedule, but I really enjoy it, and I especially enjoy Sundays. Why? Because it's just so informal and kind of laid back. And today is Sunday, August 26th, and here in Toma, Wisconsin, where I live, it's about an hour east of the Mississippi. We have a beautiful morning. Puffy clouds. We're supposed to be getting rain and thunderstorms this afternoon, and if I had the windows open, you'd be able to hear everybody rushing to get their yard work done, including my husband, Paul, who is doing really, really well. Thank you all so much for all the prayers and good thoughts sent our way while he was dealing with pneumonia. He's doing quite well. I think this is the second week, or maybe we're going into the third week, I think. And he's doing really, really good. He doesn't have hardly, can't even tell he was that sick. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. Hey, good morning, Elise and Mary. Good morning, Marianne. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it on a Sunday morning. Do you have your coffee or your tea? I have coffee this morning. Why? Well, I enjoy coffee more often these days, but I also have a donut waiting for me for when we're done with the live stream. Part of my breakfast. I don't do donuts very often because it's, well, as a type 2 diabetic, those are the choices we make, right? What to have and what to put into your digestion, your fuel. I do know that donuts, as much as they taste good, they're not good for me. Yeah, it burns too quickly, and the glucose, glycemic index, it shoots up, and that doesn't do me well. Doesn't do me well. Although I enjoy them, I don't do them very often. So I have a chocolate filled donut waiting for me. When Paul went to go get my mom's Sunday paper, he picked up donuts, and also he rented. I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but they look like huge weed eaters to me. He's brush cutters, I think is what they're called. He decided that he hasn't done that yet this year, and so he decided today was the day before the rains come that he was going to get as much of it done on. Hopefully before he has to do it again, which is next month. He usually tries to do it like four times through the summer. And so today's the day. If I had the windows open, you could hear him. He loves doing that stuff. He likes snow removal too. I don't know. I don't know about him sometimes. We've been together for over 40 years, and I still don't get some of the things he does. And he still says that I kind of freak him out. And I did it again the other day, telling him about a dream I had and a meditation that I did last weekend. And yeah, so I finished the ceremony yesterday afternoon. There was a how do I want to say this? One of those blood oath things. I've only done 2 in my life. And the first one is, oh gosh, I've known my best friend from elementary school. We did a blood oath thing. I think we were 12 at the time, 12, maybe 13. That was the first one I had ever done. And it was actually her idea because she had seen it I read it in a book or something like that. And so we did that. So we've been connected as blood sisters since the age of 12 or 13. And And that relationship, even though we don't see each other every day, we might not ever talk every month even. But when we do get back together, it's like one of those relationships where, no time has elapsed. You pick up exactly where you left off and you get caught up, and, it's a good relationship. It really is. So much so that she's a part of Star Nations organization. She is our bookkeeper. And she was somebody that I bounced ideas off from, and when we were developing Star Nations. And so Marley and I have been connected for a lot of years. The second blood oath I took has only been 3 years, possibly. Yeah, I think it's 3 years old. It's not more than 2. And it was one of those ones that I, when you're getting the information coming in, and it's like, wait. They weren't telling me don't do it. I'm talking about my spiritual team. They were saying wait. And they were telling me to wait. And on the physical side of things, there was an urgency coming from the person that I did the oath with. And so I did wait. I waited for almost a year, not quite. But we did do it, and we did do the blood oath. And when I was in meditation this past weekend, I was asking about that. And I got instructions on how to undo it, to disavow it. And so, and I've never done one of those before. So anyway, I had to do a ceremony for it, and I needed to get it done before this full moon that's happening today. And so I got it in just under the time limit. So I'm watching the energy today. I watched my dreams and see what I was dreaming about last night. And to tell you the truth, I don't remember my dreams. I was so tired, don't remember my dreams. But it was something that I needed to get done. And so, we'll see how things turn out now, how it unfolds. And Elise, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing the live stream. And I'm going to do the same thing quickly here. I'm going to share it. I'm going to like it and share it. But first I have to get to it. There we go. Here we are. So I'm going to like it, and then I'm going to share it. And I'm sharing it to my timeline. My news feed, I should say. And just say, hi, friends. I'm live streaming, and please join me. There we go. And I spelled everything correctly this time too. And I think I'll do it over to the closed group too. All right, so then we're going to share it to a group. And hi, peeps. And I'm live streaming. And please join me. And we're going to do it to the Radio Network closed group. There. Thank you, Elise, for reminding me, and so we can get that done. Excellent. It's good stuff. Okay, there we go. All right, so with today's card draw, the card that came, the first card that jumped out of the deck, it's very interesting because, let me show it to you. And it's the last of the 44 cards that's in the deck, or in the book, I should say. And it's called Love and Power. Let's see if we can get the camera to focus a little bit on it. There we go. And Francine Hart, the author, she, the essence of the card is about intentional balance. Intentional balance. And if you take a look at the image, you'll see a man and a woman reaching across, and you'll see a heart in the center. And in the center of the heart, you'll see part of the flower of life. And you also, if you can kind of make it up, there is a star tetrahedron here, a Merkaba. And you got spirals. This is a very interesting card. And around the edges, you have that you can see lightning or images of a lightning. It is a lot to take in. Intentional balance. And she's talking about the balance between male and female energies, and also the balance between your head and your heart, love and power, intentional balance. Isn't that is a when I was looking at the card, I thought, holy smoke, there's a lot in here. There's a lot. And here's what Francine has to say about this card. She says that this is the last card in the Oracle deck and represents a culmination of new and ancient wisdom of sacred geometry. It reminds us that the geometry of shape and form is part and parcel of everything in existence. She goes on to say that the complex geometry of this card acts as a catalyst and a prayer that we, as humans, human beings, men and women, acting in accordance with divine wisdom and with intention toward our highest good, can learn to live and love in balance. We can learn to live and love in balance. And I have to agree with her, because when we're balanced, we just feel so much better. We feel actually moments of happiness, and it just feels good. And when we're out of balance, we certainly can feel that, can't we? It's like you just don't know what to do with yourself, right? Kind of reminds me, of when we were small children, and you get overtired, and you get kind of cranky, and everything bothers you. Do you remember those days? I remember a few of those. And as an adult, we still go through that, the imbalance and being overtired. But when we're adults and overtired, the crankiness turns to sarcasm and to not being kind sometimes is because we're too tired. And then when we try to take a nap or to lay down, we're overtired, and it's hard to fall asleep, right? As adults. Yeah. I want to check something here. I want to check to make sure the comments, because sometimes with Facebook, I don't know why Facebook sometimes doesn't show the comments right away, and then all of a sudden a batch of them will come through, and then there's a lot, right? And so I'm just double checking, and it looks like it's working. All right. So we have, this one turned out, make sure my sound's turned out. So when we're doing things to be intentionally balanced, what does that mean? I think that means that we are connecting to Grandmother Earth, connecting to Grandfather Sky, that our chakras, all of them, are as balanced and spinning as close to optimal as possible, given whole bunch of other host of things. That our emotions are balanced. We're not dramatic in one direction or another. And to me, being balanced is being kind of calm, cool, and collected, and showing our emotions in a healthy way. That's what it means to me. So what does it mean to you to be balanced? To be balanced. And I also, there's this image of spinning plates. Did you ever see that? And a lot of times it started out like in circuses and to performers on stage, right? They would have these poles, and they'd have a plate on top of the pole, and they'd spin them, and the plate would continue to spin, and they would spin all these plates, right? And then you'd have to go back and spin them a little bit to keep them spinning. A lot of times that's what my life is like, is the spinning of the plates. So when I'm not balanced, the spinning of the plates, that metaphor, can get very uncomfortable. And so what I learned how to do is to take down as many plates as possible and just take care of a couple at a time, not a whole bunch, right? And for a triple Sagittarian, that's difficult to do, because we like to not just keep busy, but it's just not busy to be busy. Paul used to tease me is that I had to have at least 10 different projects going on all at one time before I was happy. It's not quite to that degree anymore, but yeah, to be busy and to be creatively busy, that's what I love. And when it's out of balance, I feel like that performer on the stage and trying to keep all these plates spinning. Yeah. And it took me a while to learn how many plates spinning is healthy. How many plates spinning is balance. And I know that I can do maybe 3 or 4 really well. When it gets more than that, I'm getting stretched. Yeah. So I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? About intentional balance. Intentional balance. Francine goes on to say that we must be willing to accept responsibility for our actions and our thoughts and use our power wisely as power to, not power over. In doing so, we'll usher in the age of peace and enlightenment, when humans no longer act from greed or anger, but find the most powerful acts to be acts of love that come directly from their hearts. In some ways, we could interpret that as ascension, right? When we work on our healing, our personal healing, and we heal those traumas that we've experienced, we're taking responsibility for our actions. And that action comes from life lessons, decisions that we've made. And when we do our own healing, our personal healing, we get to take that healing, because when we do that, it removes the interference, removes barriers, it removes blocks to our gifts that we came in with, and to how we apply those to our soul contract. And so when we do those healings, we're really working at our soul contract. And with the intentional balance, the more we heal, the more balanced we are. The easier it is to stay in balance or to rebalance, right? Yeah. I like that. When we take that responsibility for ourselves, not responsibility for someone else, but just responsibility for our own stuff, our own actions, that's about soul growth. That's what I think anyway. Yeah. I think the hard part is recognizing what needs to be done. When we figure out what it is, what to call it, what to work on, and making the decisions to do that. Sometimes we procrastinate. We know what we have to get done, and yet we could find a million other things to do. I'd even do the dishes when I was procrastinating. And why do we procrastinate about it, right? Why? When ultimately we know that when we're on the other side of the healing and we're integrating, that life can be so much better, and yet we procrastinate. I think sometimes we're caught in a rut, and rather than changing, is keeping something that we're familiar with, rather than doing the change. Yeah. Hey, good morning, Jocelyn. How are you doing? I'm so glad you're here with us. I'll show you what the first card we got. This is the first card. It's called Love and Power, and it's about intentional balance. The balance between male and female energies, the balance between the head and the heart. Yeah. It's a pretty card. It's pretty artwork, but there's a whole lot to see in this card. A whole lot to see. And so I was asking, the question is, how do you define balance for yourself? You know, I'm sure, yes, we can look it up in the dictionary. We can even look up the metaphysics of what balance is. But really, what is balance to us individually, and what does that feel like? What does it feel like when we're in balance? And then what does it feel like when we're out of balance? Because when we know those things for ourselves, we can feel it, right? When it's starting, and we can head it off at the pass. And we can use our tools, the oils or meditation or our creativity, maybe go to a healer and regain our balance, to rebalance. Yeah, it is. Jocelyn said it's a beautiful card. It is. I really like that artwork on there. Yeah, and we're talking about the responsibility for our actions, and what are our actions that is the consequences being out of balance. Yeah, you know, and make better decisions, right? About those kinds of actions. I was just sitting here thinking, what is an action that I've done that pulls me out of balance? Yeah, sometimes it's thinking through things to the nth degree, you know, the different variations, rather than being just making the decision and then being in the flow. And I know when I do that is usually when I'm overtired, which is a lot these days. Which is a lot these days. So, you know, once I can feel it starting, I'll do something else. I will do a short meditation. Sometimes I'll just walk outside. It's kind of like diverting your attention, disrupting it. Yeah. Or I watch something funny on television, a funny movie, or a funny show. You know, recently we got Netflix, and I've been watching Grace and Frankie, and some of those are just hilarious, and so it makes me laugh. And so it is a disruption of those ruminating thoughts. Yeah, got to get this done. Even if I have a list, which I usually do, have a list of things to get done. There's some things that I forget to write down on the list. And then that bothers me, and then so I have to write it down on the list. Like, for instance, I agreed. I said yes to making a rattle for somebody, one of my clients, and I don't have that many clients anymore. I didn't have any clients at all for like almost 2 years, 2.5, no, a year and a half. And then just about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I started getting telephone calls from past clients, wondering if I could give them a hand with something, you know. And so I have, but I haven't said yes to everybody either, because I can't fit everybody in. But I did say yes to helping one of my clients. She wanted to purchase a rattle, but didn't know where to go for a rattle. And so I was kind of giving her referrals. And then she came back with, could you make it for me? And I can. I said, but it's going to take me a while. Well, it's going to take me a while to get to it. And so that is sitting like right back here. Got to make the rattle, got to make the rattle, got to make the rattle. And so I need to get it on my calendar. And once it's on the calendar, scheduled, then I know that I have the time to get it, to be focused on making a rattle, focused on the energy that's going into the creation of it, right? Rather than just kind of throwing it together and saying, okay, I got it done. I can check it off my list now. Yeah, can't do that. Can't do that. Not especially when she's going to be using this rattle in ceremony, right? So those kinds of things. I don't know if you experience anything like that at all, but that for me, that is being out of balance, is when I start that rumination, that thinking about, oh, I got to get this done, I got to get that done, and I have a lot to get done because I have this multimedia corporation that I'm running too, and so I don't know. I have to use my tools, my gifts to rebalance, and speaking of which, we're going to be doing that on Tuesday night. We've got a unity breath meditation coming up on Tuesday night. So with this card, you have to remember that in this card layout, the very first card given to us sits on the right-hand side in the card layout, and it represents the male aspects. So we're taking in the information with our mental mind, our thoughts, and our logic, right? And it's interesting to be able to do that with this particular card because there's so much in it. Yeah. So that goes on the right-hand side of the card layout. And the second card that came, because that's the way the author designed these cards, is to have a 2-card draw. And the first one's for the male aspect and the second is for the female aspect. And with the 2, we have balance. We have balance, and we're bringing in the information in all of our bodies, all of them. And so we get the fullness of the meaning of the cards for us. So the second card that came is the Sri Yantra. Sri Yantra. Yeah, these are one of these meditation symbols. And with the Sri Yantra, to find that centeredness, that peace, they say that you're supposed to start on the outside and looking at the image and then going into each one of these triangles until you get to the smallest one in the center. And you spend a little time in that smallest one. And then you work your way back out. So you go from the largest to the smallest, and from the smallest to the largest. And it's on the way out of that meditation that you're on that largest triangle that you are more calmer, you're centered. Yeah. It's another beautiful image. I know, it's an amazing card. And I'm sure, have you guys ever seen the Sri Yantra before? It's a very well-known, or well-seen, I should say, a well-seen symbol, the Sri Yantra. Sometimes you see them on cloth flags, posters. A lot of times you'll see them in yoga places, metaphysical stores, spiritual stores. You'll see them for sale. But that's the Sri Yantra, and Francine has wrong one. Has the essence of this card as meditation. It comes from a Hindu tantric tradition, and it's also known as the great object. The great object. It's got 9 interlocking triangles that form a powerful symbol for meditation. The proportions of the largest triangle are the same as each face on the Great Pyramid at Giza in Egypt. Okay, so we have divine proportion here. And the interlocking of 9 triangles. 9 triangles. And if I remember right, Carla Jo Worth, oh, I can't remember, she was sharing something in a chat about the triangles, the triquetra. Triquetra means 3 triangles, right? And this is 9. And she wrote something specific about 9 triangles. I'm gonna ask her to put that information in this comment for this video, because there was something very specific about the 9 that she shared. Francine goes on to say the dimensions of the pyramid conform to the divine proportion of the phi ratio, which is the golden mean, right? Divine proportion. She goes on to say the rings of lotus petals and the surrounding square with 4 doors represent the boundaries. Boundaries within each consciousness. The drawing of this card suggests that we may find ourselves needing protection or break from the chaos and overstimulation of the outside world. You think? So we can use this particular meditation with the Sri Yantra to bring ourselves back to center, back to focus, and to take a break, a pause from the outside world. Because I don't know about you, but it's pretty chaotic out there. Yeah. What went through my mind just now was the crossing over, the walking on of John McCain, Senator John McCain. And my heart goes out to his family. We all know what it's like to have someone close to us walk on, and no matter his politics or not, they're human beings, and the compassion for their grief, the compassion for what they watched him go through with his brain cancer, and what it was like for them to watch him stop taking his medication a couple of days ago. And so the chaos on the outside of the world, the outside world, sometimes we need to put it on pause, to take a break from it, right? Even though we might not be the kind of people who sit around and watch television a lot or watch the news, air quotes, because it's not really news. Yet it still affects us. Why? It's because we're a part of this. We're a part of the world. If we believe in unity, this is a part of the unity as well. And so to offer condolences, to offer a prayer, even though they might not know us, but to say a prayer that that he has a good journey home, that he goes to the light. Yeah. So the Sri Yantra. And so by our intention, we can actually take that break by using a meditation. Francine says, by your intention, move into the symbol and experience time as a place of stillness in the eternal now. The stillness. So by the time we go through all the 9 triangles and we get to the smallest one, that we're in stillness. Yeah, I like it. I do. Don't we crave that too? I know I do. Cindy Lynn's here. Hey, Cindy Lynn. I'm so glad to see your name in the chat. I hope you're doing well. Um, you know, it's been a while. We notice, and we when we notice those things, we always say a little prayer that that they're doing well and that they're loved, that kind of stuff. Because we're all so busy, and we're right in August, and if you have kids and they're school age, you're probably really focused on getting them ready for the end of the month when they start school, and this busyness. And there's also health issues too, I know. And so we always, whenever we see that, because we have certain people who show up in the live streams, regularly. And so when you're not around, we know that there could be something up. And so we just say a little prayer that you guys are doing well, even though we don't see your names in the chat room. So just wanted to share that with you. The Sri Yantra. She says it's a mechanism to help you find the internal peace. The internal peace. And so why these two cards together, right? Why these two cards together? Love and power and the Sri Yantra, which is about meditation. Honestly, when I put these two cards together earlier this morning, I was looking at them. What it felt like to me was that the balance, the one that's about balance, is that one of our tools is meditation. And so to remember to use our tools, and we could use the Sri Yantra as one of the tools, but we have tools to be able to bring us into balance or to rebalance, and that is that we are more able to be of service, not only to others but to ourselves, when we're in balance. When we're out of balance, we really can't help a lot of people, or many people, and sometimes nobody, because we're so out of balance. Yeah. And we can actually use meditation, use a tool to come back into balance, to rebalance. Yeah. And with this card, if you see right in the center of the heart, right in the center of the heart is one of the flower of life, where the circles are overlapping. And when I first saw that, when I first looked at it, it reminded me of the sacred space and the tiny space of our heart. And with the meditations that I teach, and the ascension classes that I used to teach, is that when we're in our sacred space of our heart, we know joy, we know happiness. The sacred space of our heart is the repository of all the experiences our soul has ever had since its inception. And it's a place that we can go to really find out about ourselves. And when we do the healing, we're actually, when we can work from the sacred space of our heart, that's really important. Now, the tiny space is, they call it the holiest place in the universe, is the tiny space of our heart. That is where we're connected to everything and everyone. That is a place that we're closest to the prime creator, the creator of God, the creator of creators. Some would call the great mystery. Some places call it the void or the still point, is in the tiny space of the heart. And from that place, we are centered and balanced. We are we can create from that place. Yeah. So that's what that part of the card reminded me of. Cindy Lynn said, sick actually. Aw. Well, Cindy Lynn, know that we're sending you a lot of love and seeing you in optimal health, in a really, really soft green light of healing, right? Yeah. You too, Elise, you've been sick too? Aw, same for you then. Prayers to you, lots of love coming your way, seeing you in optimal health and in that glow of the green healing light, a really soft glow. Yeah. So I'm sending you a lot of love, you two ladies. Cindy's saying thank you. She says, I've been doing back-to-back school stuff to they start a new school tomorrow. So, that's even added stress, right? A new school. Yeah. And some parents, I'm not going to say everybody, some parents are really looking forward to this time of the year because sometimes the summer can get kind of intense when the kids are home and they're home for many, many days back to back. And so parents are kind of looking for school to start and having a little bit of a break, Yeah. And so Jocelyn is saying, so very true. When we're out of balance and can't help anyone, sometimes not even ourselves. I know. I've been there. Yep. And finding a way, using our tools. And actually, many times it's our close friends, the family that loves us, that understand us, and they'll ask us those questions. Have you done? Have you used? Did you pray? In my family, it's, did you give tobacco? And so they're reminding us to use our tools, because when we're in the thick of it and when we can't even help ourselves, sometimes we need those people in our lives to remind us or to come over and help us. Maybe they come over and help us apply the oils, or they come over and they have casserole or something, something to give us and then say a prayer with us. So sometimes having them physically with us is very helpful, depending on what we're going through, right? Yeah. And Jocelyn is saying, very much what was been going on in my life since March. I'm beginning to get back into balance. Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. I mean, mine was all of 2017, part of 2016. I feel so much better these days. I know I'm still integrating the shift in energy, understanding some things that occurred in that time frame in 2017, and learned a lot about the ego and balancing, actually seeing the ego as another tool rather than the ego running the show. And learning a lot about that, because I in the past I would have said, oh yeah, balance the head and the heart and the ego. And it's amazing at how many places in our lives that our ego is out of balance and we don't see it, we don't recognize it. And then when we get the opportunity, because it's right here in our face, to do the balance of the ego, because we still need it. It's a part of us. Don't want to eradicate it because it's a part of the whole, right? But to bring it into balance, and to bring it into a place that is positively useful. Cindy Lynn said, oh, geez, 2016 and 17 kicked my butt to learn a lot. I know, you and me both. You and me both. Yeah. But, as I look back, because what do they say about hindsight? It's 2020. I do know now that there were certain things that occurred that had to occur in order to bring in a greater shift and a greater understanding of my soul contract and purpose here. Yeah. Yep. It's good stuff. But I also have to take some time for the integration and not rush things. And so that's where I'm at right now. Yeah. Is the integration part and carving out time to be in the quiet, even if it's only for 5 minutes. And 5 minutes can be a long time. Can be. Sometimes it goes by so quickly that you think, I just sat down. And so, yeah, and I know what you mean, Cindy Lynn, about learning a lot. Learned a lot. Yeah, that's for sure. So, please, whatever information was about these two cards for you, if it resonated with you, is hold on to it, embrace it, and then notice how the energy for today is unfolding for you, how it flows through you and around you, right? And when we're looking for the balance, when we're making that decision that I'm going to go into meditation and I'm going to meditate on being more balanced, that's being a direct participant of the energy. If you're a witness, maybe you're one of those friends that gets a telephone call or a text message from one of your dearest friends, your closest friends, and they're having a hard time, and you're watching how the energy is unfolding and how it's affecting them, that you can actually be one of those friends that say, did you use your oils? What about a flower essence? Maybe brew yourself a nice cup of tea and take a little break, right? Be that friend, be that one that helps us to remember that we have tools. And if it didn't resonate with you, that's okay too. Not every single word or vibration is for us to know and to bring in. Maybe it's the planting of a seed, or maybe you're the messenger, and so you can share the recorded link, the show link to someone that you know. So maybe you're the messenger. Yeah, that's it. So just be aware of how the day unfolds for you. A little reminder of what's coming up on Star Nations this coming week. The last week is also a very busy week here at Star Nations for a lot of different reasons. But the shows that are coming up on Tuesday, chakra sessions with Polly Jola Bay at noon Eastern. She's going to be covering forgiveness at another level, a little bit deeper level than what she did the last time. And so that's at noon. If you're looking for ways to forgive and with our chakras, that's going to be a good show. And then my show on Tuesday night, which is the 28th? Yeah, the 28th of August at 8 p.m. is Communications from Home. It's the last Tuesday of the month, and that's when we do the Unity Breath meditation together. It's a guided meditation that I do for you, and it's all about love and all about connecting to Grandmother Earth and Grandfather Sky. Yeah. Actually, the Unity Breath meditation is probably one of my most used tools. I do it, don't want to say every day, but I do portions of it every day. Yeah, there you go. And Thursday, Got to back up. Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern is Polly Joe LeBay's show, Soul Connections. And if you are a healer, a light worker of any kind, and you haven't made time for your own self-care, Wednesday night is designed for us to do that. Polly Joe LeBay, she sets up, creates a sacred space and helps us to release, to heal whatever needs to be done. We're working with our individual spiritual teams on our own individual intentions. And Polly Joe is the conduit to help do that release or that healing. So that's Wednesday night. Thursday, I am so looking forward to. I call it Elders Day. Star Nation's Elders Day here at yeah. Why? Because Connie Vaughter, her show Spiritual Mysteries of Life is at 10:30 Eastern, and she's one of our elders. And Carol and Orchard Franklin's show, The Mystery School, is Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And that show is all about spirit, of course. I get to produce their show, so I am sitting in the front row, and I normally have my notebook out, and I have pen or pencil to take notes, because in those two shows is when I get the most aha moments. So I hope you can join us. Yeah. And with that, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and maybe do a little meditation. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. Okay. So love you guys, and Bama Mina until we see each other again.